We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani.
I'm Lakeisha.
And we are Couples Academy practitioners who come to you on Fridays to answer your questions. That's right. This is Ask the Experts. So whatever your question is, whatever your situation may be, bring it into this conversation so that we can help navigate you through some things. Don't wait till the end of the show to come up with your 50,000 questions. Post it now before we get started.
Every week,
right? It's just like, what's going on? Nonetheless, guys, we're excited because we're just a couple of days away from August, and as you know, it's the last chance weekend. But I also want to give some attention to the Unearth Retreat that's coming up for the women. I'm excited about it because Danielle's been working on it, and of course, none other than our Lakeisha Hines is one of the featured speakers. I know that you've seen her on the show, but it's nothing like what happens, the magic that happens when you're in the room with her. So she will be there presenting. Also, a few other phenomenal speakers will be there. And if you're looking for a getaway, not just to get away, but to revive, to restore, to replenish, to just do everything that's necessary to bring your life to a place of healing and balance and restoration, you need to sign up for that particular retreat. All right, let's just get into this conversation, Lakeisha. We've got our Ben is always first in line. I love it every single week. He comes with it. And so we're just going to go. Ben, good morning from Tennessee. I'm a 8-wing-7 unfaithful. When does the healing of the individual come into play? There's so much focus on the couple. I feel like it sacrifices the individual. How can we be a better person if I'm not a better me? I need to heal before I care if we heal. Gotcha. And you're right. You are the lowest common denominator in your relationship. So when you say there's such a focus on couples, what are you referring to? Are you referring to Couples Academy? Well, of course, we have a focus on a couple, but we also talk about the importance of your individual healing. So your healing starts now. It should have started when all of this was exposed. It should have started when the restoration process began. And let me just give you some insight for all of those who think that one has to come before the other. There's no order. It can happen simultaneously. Forgive me for being trite, but we talk about all the time. If you're driving along the highway, there are multiple lanes, right? And so you and your spouse are in multiple lanes all at the same time. So if there's a middle lane, that's the lane that you two are in together as a couple. So there's the journey you take as a couple. But then there's your individual journey. So you're in the left lane, your spouse is in the right, but you're all moving together at the same time. So it doesn't have to be either or, it's both and. And as you become better, a better version of you, of course, the natural impact will be that your relationship begins to be restored. But, I'm a novice at this. Let's go to the expert. Lakeisha, what say you?
Really? All right. So, hey, Ben, good morning. And as Hassani said, you are faithful, my brother. He has even been watching SOS and got his question in early, like first question last week. So we appreciate you so much. Ben, here's the thing. 100% agree with Hassani. I know I say it all the time. I hear Jeff, I hear Walter, Charmaine, Danielle, all of us, we're always saying individual healing. We're pushing Foundry. That's for the men. We're pushing Unearth. That's for the women. And everything that we talk about, most times it goes back to, what are you doing? What individual work are you doing? Because here's the thing. There's typically, not always, there are two broken people that come into a relationship. We say, well, you know what? My half and your half, and we put them together and we make a whole. Well, mathematically, that makes sense. But as it pertains to relationships, no, what we did was put two broken people in a relationship. And so we do have to continue to work on this. Even if there hasn't been a betrayal, we still have to be working on our individual selves. And I will say this to you, when there has been infidelity or betrayal of any kind, you do have to go back to what was going on prior to that happening. We've been saying that there were issues in the relationship all along, but a lot of times there's nothing that the individual person specifically did. It may have been something that was going on internally with the one who cheated. So what was going on prior to infidelity? Have you been working on uncovering that? Have you been working on healing that? What was broken inside of you? So you absolutely have to do that work, and it begins the minute you say that you are ready to work.
What a comprehensive answer. And I agree with you 1010%. So, Ben, hopefully that's helpful. We're going to go to another question from, I don't have my glasses, but you know who you are. Can you survive in a marriage without any romance? I'm always told I don't know how. So let me just say this. Yes, you can survive, but you don't want to survive. You know, if you think about all of the catastrophes that have happened all over the world where people have died, roaches survive, right? They've stood the test of time. You want to thrive. You want to thrive in your relationship, not just survive. So surviving is the worst it can get. Thriving is the best it can get. And if you don't know how, guess what? Google. Amazon, Audible, article, YouTube. There's so much information out there that you can learn about how to be more romantic. And guess what? One of the principles we say all the time, become a student of your spouse. Ask your spouse, how do you like to be romanced? What is it that you consider to be romantic? One of the things that we talk about in the Pillow Talk, 50 Questions of Extraordinary Sex, is for each couple to define what romance is, what it means to them. And as long as you're showing up and accommodating each other in that space, then you've just eradicated this I don't know in terms of romance. I mean, You're the sex expert. Who would know better than you?
Man, listen, you better start watching SOS. you and your partner need to be watching SOS. We talk about intimacy, we talk about sex. It's not just sex, because nothing ever is just sex, right? Communication comes up literally every episode. You hear me talking about communication, and this is just another example of that. And that's exactly what Hassani is saying. You guys have to communicate. So if your partner is saying I don't know how, then it's your job to teach them, and it's their job to be a student and want to learn. So you've got to explain to your partner how you actually want to experience romance in that relationship. Now the challenge may be, if you don't know how you want to experience romance in the relationship, then they don't know either. So you got to get in touch with that yourself, and then share that with your partner, with your spouse, so that they understand what it is that they need to do to fulfill you in that way.
We got a bunch of questions. We're going to go to one more and then head to a quick break, but let's jump into this. So I cheated. There's so much to the 8-year story, but now my partner is saying in order to feel attractive again, he needs to meet other people. We're not married. He met someone yesterday at work. So it sounds like he's obviously still hurt by what you did and hasn't gone through a healing process, and feels like he needs to get from someone else what he feels like he's not getting from you. I will say oftentimes, just in general, not your situation, a lot of people, one of the things that contributes to their affair is the fact that they don't feel attractive in their relationship anymore. So there's this natural language of attraction that initiates a relationship, and then normalcy sets in, and we stop complimenting, we stop flirting, we stop engaging. And so other people begin to do what we once did, and that becomes the language of seduction. So I'm going to find in someone else what I can't find in you. But it seems like not just that, there's a lot of probably issues that haven't been resolved, feelings that haven't been healed from. And so they're looking outwardly. Maybe they want to contribute to your pain too, because, revenge sex and revenge affairs is real. You did it, I'm going to do it. Fine. You found somebody attractive, I'm going to find somebody attractive too. And really the lack of attraction that he may not get in the relationship could be based upon this emotional relational disconnect that exists. And so therefore there is no draw. There's no magnetism, if you will, in the relationship.
Yeah, and I don't know how long you guys have been together. I don't know if that was said, but Hassani, she goes on to say, is this necessary? Is this supposed to happen? No, it's not supposed to happen. No, it's not necessary. This is what we do all the time. We have a problem internally, and we do this. Instead of turning into each other,
Yeah.
we turn outward and we try to fill a void in other ways. And all that does is add more stress, more drama, more unnecessary hurt and pain. And that is not the solution. It honestly, truly is not even, in my opinion, a band-aid for the solution, because what you're now doing is bringing in a third party.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how infidelity occurs. You're reaching out to someone else to get something from the person who you need to truly be getting it from. And so this is not the answer. Absolutely not.
I'm so glad I answered these questions before, Lakeisha. I don't know what I would do if I came after. Anyway, guys, you're watching the Couples Academy show. This is Ask the Experts. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for another break. We're back. Wow, that was a quick one. We're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. And look at this. We have Walter and Charmaine Jennings, two of our phenomenal practitioners who have sacrificed their time to be here this morning. They're logging in all the way from, can I say, is it okay? I don't want to.
Yeah.
All the way from Aruba in the Caribbean, living life. You see her hairstyle? You see how she got that whole thing going on?
Yes.
You ready? How you guys doing?
We're doing excellent. This has been a great week. We've been here since Monday, and we actually did Before I Do from here as well. And we wanted to model again, dating forever. I'm committed to dating my wife, my friend, my lover, the mother of my children forever. So yeah, we wanted to make sure to come online and show everybody we don't just talk it, we walk it.
Listen, guys.
Get my husband. I'll be right back.
If you don't know about Before I Do, you need to tune in every single week, because Walter and Charmaine do a phenomenal job of really digging into foundational things for healthy relationships. It's a show that you do not want to miss. But let's go back to these questions. There's a lot here. LaShawn says, I've been separated from my husband for 5 months. We still hang out as a married couple, but not living together. It's hard because we still love each other, just couldn't get on the same page in our marriage. What can we do to get back as a married couple? Walter and Charmaine, why don't you hit that?
You absolutely need an arbitrator. Please reach out and contact us in situations like this. What you need is a neutral third party to really help you navigate and talk through some of the challenges that you have that are serving as barriers for you all to be able to come back to cohabitation. The fact that you all are still able to remain cordial and to speak to one another says that there is a willingness, and there are some things there that still bind and connect you. So really what you all are needing is someone to help you all to figure out exactly what the challenges are, so you all can get back under the same roof, because that is critical. Where you all are right now, you won't always be there, and you're creating opportunities for other distractions, other individuals to come in and to break and sever that connection. So it's imperative that you get in contact with us so that you can get someone to help you navigate that.
A lot of couples tend to struggle with that self-awareness. So definitely we love to help couples unpack where you each individually regarding your self-awareness, how are you showing up in the relationship, as well as how big is environment and or culture playing a role in what you're bringing to the table in your relationship. Is there a culture clash? Is there culture shock that both of you guys are experiencing, and being able to unpack that?
Excellent answers. Excellent. Let's go to the next one. Mary says, good morning. I'm an 8-wing 9 and my spouse is a 6-wing 7. We're talking about Enneagram, folks. If you're new to this conversation, when they throw numbers around, it is the Enneagram personality assessment. And if you're not aware of what yours is, reach out to us and we can set that up for you. What do you do when your spouse refuses all couples and individual growth work? We have seen 4 therapists and he's refused all the homework they gave us. I have grown a lot and now feel we aren't a fit anymore. If I ask him to do things, he rolls his eyes like a 14-year-old. I'm tired, to be honest. Lakeisha, you start us off.
Yeah, it sounds like he's tired too, to be completely honest. But here's the thing, going to 4 therapists, that lets me know that at least he was willing to try at some point. Perhaps he didn't get exactly what he needed from those 4 therapists. And I understand, there's Hassani says this all the time, there's no magic wand, right? It's literally, it works if you work it. So you do have to do the homework, you do have to show up, but something didn't motivate him to do the work. Maybe he didn't see the purpose in the assignments. And I'm not justifying, I'm not excusing him doing the work, but I'm always looking for the why behind the behavior. Why is it that he didn't want to do the work? My suggestion is last chance weekend, because honestly, he's going to get around other men, other couples who have the same struggles. Same thing I would say to LaShawn. You guys need to come to Last Chance Weekend because you're going to get months of counseling in a single weekend. We will be able to unpack so many different issues and things that may never have been uncovered or discussed in the past. And so my recommendation for you guys definitely is to make it to Last Chance Weekend so that we can get through to him and you can get some support too, sis.
And let me just say, this is not a sales pitch. Like, this is the reason why we show testimonials every day is because, of course, you would expect us to big up this weekend, but it is truly a transformational experience that changes the trajectory of people's lives and marriages forever. And you don't want to continue to sit in the sidelines, wishing, wanting, hoping, praying that something going to happen. No, get up off your shoulders, put one foot in front of the other, grab that phone, reach out to us, and let's get started. Stop waiting.
Well,
I'm
saying what I'm saying too, because we keep hearing these same scenarios over and over. The couples that show up for Last Chance Weekend, these are the same stories. It's 2 different people.
And I wanted to emphasize too what Keisha mentioned. The fact that he has gone to 4 therapists, what that shows is a willingness on his part to want to at least pursue healing the marriage. It sounds like there may be a challenge in him being heard. And so that usually is a telltale sign that he's going along to get along, but he doesn't necessarily feel like he has voice in the process. And so absolutely, Last Chance Weekend, what it does is it provides equity and equality when it comes to voice in some of the challenges and the things that are being done. So it is important that he has a voice in the process so that he can buy into it and so he can fully participate in it.
Charmaine, I want you to start with this and Walter piggyback. How to emphasize equality in a marriage, cleaning, grocery shopping, etc. It's been communicated multiple times, but the excuse is always the hard manual nature of his job. So I'm assuming he doesn't engage in the domestic because of his work. How do you kind of navigate through that?
Wow. The first thing is definitely it's really helpful when couples are really honest and forthright about, motivation is important as well. What things gets your blood boiling? What are those things that really speak to you in the home that, this needs to get done? 9 out of 10 times doing the dishes, that's your thing. Laundry, I just can't stand to see that laundry basket over there. It's been over there for 2 weeks. Those are things that, that you're passionate about, and you probably do need to take lead on it. But if you do have a partner that they come home, they're exhausted, they're tired, that, it is important to really, you do have to force and just really encourage your partner to say, look, these are things that, first of all, what can you do? What are you good at doing? And really leaving those things to the partner. It can be tough. Both of you have to have a language and a common agreement. So first off, coming up with what we both are agreeing to contribute in the house. And if that person agrees to it, allowing them to honor what they say. Sometimes in couples, the timelines aren't the same. And so there are times where, if you say that you're going to do those dishes, the dishes are going to stay right there until you do them. And if you have a partner that I just can't stand to see the dishes there, you know what? You're going to have to push through. Leave those dishes there. I don't care if they're there for 3 weeks. Leave them there because allow them to be a person of their word. But really coming together, common agreements, looking towards each other's strengths. What is your strength? And allowing each other to thrive in that.
And what Charmaine is speaking to really is our work in diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's a difference between equity and equality. So equality means that, hey, there are these duties that need to be done. You do this half, I do this half. That's equality. So we want equal task, equal things that need to be done. Equality means that based on the situation that we're in and our skill sets, you may have more duties than I have or more tasks than I have. Everything still gets done, but based on the season that we're in, you may have 8 tasks, I may have 6. You know, and then as the season shifts, I may have 8 and you may have 6. So the question becomes, are you open to that? Are you pushing for equality than you are equity? And which one are you more open to? But as Charmaine mentioned, starting with a conversation about where you both are, what your passions and your skill set is when it comes to those tasks is going to be the good starting point.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad I'm around smart people because I get better and better every single day. Let's go to the next question. Jay says, good morning. My wife has forgiven herself for the years of affairs. I'm having a hard time letting the past be the past. Lakeisha.
Oh, yes, sir. So I understand that. A lot of us deal with that. And here's the reality. There actually is a neurological response to this. There is a neurological reason for this. Our brains actually have to work harder to process negative information. Our brains have to do more thinking to break it down, to process it. And so, unfortunately, what happens is the more we focus on the negative experiences, it trains our brains to become better at remembering negative information. So, really, what we're doing is reinforcing all of those negative thoughts. And I get it and I understand it. Naturally, many of us do this, but you have to make a conscious decision that you're going to stop ruminating. Because the more you focus, anything you feed will grow. So the more you focus and ruminate on that, the more it will grow. Accept the fact that it happened. That doesn't mean that it's okay. Doesn't mean that you justify it, but you cannot let your problems define you. You have to let go of the past story to make space for new stories. So accept that it happened. Release, acknowledge how you felt about it, that it hurt, it sucked, it was painful, you didn't deserve it, all of those things. But then you have to release it and you have to make a decision that you're going to move forward. And forgiveness is key.
Let's go to this question because there's a bunch in here, but excellent answer, Lakeisha. Told my husband that I needed a full-time husband, not a part-time husband. He did not get it. How can I explain this to him? He was the one who cheated. Who wants to jump in on that?
So full-time husband, not a part-time. What does that mean? Like what exactly does that mean? He was there part-time in what way? Financially, physically, emotionally, sexually? What do you mean that he was there part-time? At the end of the day, what you're saying is you need more. And break it down, be specific. We say this all the time, be clear, concise, and direct when you're communicating. What exactly is it that you need? What is it that you're not getting? And explain that to your husband. If he doesn't know how, then you may even need to go into giving him action steps. You know, a lot of times we'll tell our husbands, I need more romance. Like the other person who posted earlier. Okay, but what does that look like? Because his definition of romance may not be your definition of romance. So we need to be specific with what it is that we're asking for.
Yeah, excellent. I'm going to go here. I want you to hit this too, Lakeisha, and then I'm going to go to Walter and Charmaine. Jay says, 3 years after D-Day, how can I get past having an incurable STD? We're limited in what we can do sexually. Besides this, we've been in a good place. It's triggering. I blame him.
Okay, so in this particular situation, honestly, I get it that this is a constant reminder. Every time you go to be intimate with your partner, you're reminded of the fact that there was infidelity because you have this incurable STD. So 100%, I understand that. But if you chose to stay in the relationship, which it sounds like you did, forgiveness is key. And you must forgive. That is the only way you're going to be able to move forward. I understand that it limits you sexually, but I understand that that's what you're saying. I'm not exactly sure how it would, because if you both have the STD, I'm not exactly sure how you would be limited sexually. So I'm not clear on that one.
Yeah.
But for me, unforgiveness to me sounds like the thing that may have you stuck and being and unable to move forward, because you can't keep blaming. You cannot keep pointing the finger and blaming him. He's acknowledged what it is that he did, and you have to forgive if you're going to stay in this relationship. Well, whether you stay or not, you got to forgive. But you have to accept the fact that this is where you are, and you guys have to work through this together.
This is the final question, and we're not going to answer this question, because I think this is deserving of an entire episode, possibly series. And I'm glad that this question came up, because this is something that we deal with constantly, and it's time for us to speak to it and address it head on. This is the question. I'm going to throw a real big one at you guys. My spouse of 23 years told me back in December that he is gay. We're still living together, but in a separate room. Just don't know where to go from here. And then it goes on to say that the last 8 months have been such an emotional roller coaster for me. And I think that this is worthy of more than just a 2-minute soundbite. So I'm asking you to go on couplesacademy.org. Matter of fact, this is what I want you to do. Okay. I'm trying to go to it. Just give me a second. Okay. You see that number right there? Text me, because I want to give special attention to this question, because I believe that this is something that so many people are going through and struggling with and just don't know what to do. In this politically correct world, we're so cautious about what we should say, and we don't want to offend. And I can't believe that you think the way you think and believe what you believe. And no. We're going to deal with this comprehensively. So get ready. So for all of you who are wondering what you need to do in this situation, because we know people in this situation, you need to tune in next week. And I promise you, we're going to address this comprehensively like never, ever before. But we appreciate you guys. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you have an amazing weekend, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Couples Academy Show.